office hours, Ask Me Anything for the end of the year. Usually I'm trying to do it on Tuesdays, but I missed last week with Christmas week, and then tomorrow's New Year's Eve. So this is our Ask Me Anything, which means I know a lot of you are at work today. You didn't get necessarily the day off. So I would like to answer any questions that you guys have, especially if there's something you're working on at work and it's really getting to you. You can ask here. Of course, people would see your question. You can try to send me a private message, and I won't give away your name or information. I'll just try to answer your question more generally. But this is office hours, Ask Me Anything. So please feel free to ask any question that you have. I'll also open up the YouTube chat in case people are watching me there and would like to ask their questions there. As usual, until we have questions, I will just start telling stories and giving general advice. YouTube is asking me to sign back in. This is going to be slow motion. So I'm hoping everybody has had a good December so far. If you have any questions at all about UX, CX, careers, portfolios, problems at your job, handling situations, I'm here for you guys. Let's talk about absolutely anything. This is your totally free office hours Ask Me Anything. I am not looking at the camera because I'm logging into YouTube, so I can take your questions there as well. But those of you on LinkedIn who have any questions about the world of UX, please do ask. That's what I'm here for. I normally do these on Tuesdays, but again, with the holidays throwing us off a little bit, I'm doing it today. Julio, you always say that. Hello to you, Julio. And hello, Francisco from Brazil. Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope everything is going well for you. Got a couple of viewers on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. I'm watching the chat there in case anybody wants to ask a question there. But so again, office hours, Ask Me Anything. I don't have any particular topic. Things on my mind today include fake thought leaders and HR, totally separate, two totally separate, unrelated things. I mean, HR, they really need to stand up for us more, and they don't. But that's not the problem in any one workplace. I think it's a general problem across HR in general. What can I do about it? Probably not much, but it's definitely on my mind. And I will be speaking at an HR conference in Canada in May. So it is on my mind of, what will I say to these people to tell them what I believe they need to do for a better customer experience, with the customers being us, the workers. So again, this is Ask Me Anything. Hello to the people live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Totally optional, just here to answer any questions people have, as I do every Tuesday. And you are welcome to ask absolutely any question you have. Again, if the question feels a little private or sensitive, you can always send it to me as a private message if we're on LinkedIn. You can also try to shoot me an email. I'll keep half an eye on the emails. It's Deb, like the beginning of my name, DEB, at deltacx.com. So again, you can always learn more about me through the Delta CX world. Don't forget, we have the one-day conference called Concentric coming up in January. It's about $90 to come, and it's one full day, and it's totally online and remote. And I packed it with really interesting sessions that I want to hear, stuff I haven't heard at all the other UX conferences. I'm hoping you will want to hear it too. So take a look at Delta CX under events. You'll see Concentric, and you can learn more about who's giving what talks and sign up and claim your live online place. If people really don't have any questions today, I don't feel a great need to stay online and yap at you. I just want to try to help out and answer questions that people might have about CX and UX, or maybe people reading my book have questions or disagree with something. You're always welcome to disagree with me. I mean, it wouldn't be UX without that. It wouldn't, if everybody agreed with me, what a boring world this would be. So you're always welcome to disagree with me or offer up another perspective. I want to hear those. I may not always agree with you, but I still want to hear it. Hello, Vinay. Waving. Hello. So again, if people don't have questions, I'll wrap up in a few minutes and give everybody their lives back and say Happy New Year. But I just figured I would make a quick appearance just in case anybody had a question, because I know some people do use the quiet holiday season or the days off from work to look for jobs, clean up their resumes, CVs, LinkedIn, portfolios. And sometimes people do have questions about these things or about job searches or leveling up or education. So these are all questions are welcome. No questions are stupid. Or at least I don't think they're stupid. So please ask any questions that you have. This is your time to be used however you like. Obviously, in a dream world, I would love to review people's like work, like real projects you're working on, but of course we can't do that. That would be breaching confidentiality and getting everybody into trouble. And I don't believe in that. I believe in doing everything right. Um, Vinay's got a question: how to defend my design decision with a client when he has his own view? So I think many of us have run into that when we've been freelancers or an outside agency or things like that. And really, you can run into that at any workplace. What if you're designing something and the product manager has a different view, a stakeholder has a different view? So Vinay, the first question is usually to myself is, what kind of relationship do I have with this client? Do I have a relationship where they see me as the expert they brought in to do this as well as possible? Or do they see me as the pair of hands that's just going to sketch some stuff? When they see you as that pair of hands, it's very hard to defend a design decision because they've pre decided in their mind that you're not really here for your creativity. You're not really here for your problem solving. You're not here for your ingenuity for your other things. You're just here to sketch some stuff that the developers can build. And I find it tends to be hard to change or repair those relationships. That really we have to start those relationships right, and we have to start them with strength and autonomy. Otherwise, if we don't start them strong enough, very quickly or over time, they can obviously wear away to just do what I'm asking you to do. I don't care if you like that better. I don't care. You have to make me happy. I'm the client. So when I'm in those situations, which used to happen a lot more, it happens a lot less now. I'm a little bit pickier about the types of work that I do, and I will say no to some people because I can see that kind of thing coming. Like, they're just going to fight me on everything. I'm just not going to go there. But when I get into those situations, I do try to remind that client that ultimately what needs to happen is we must provide value to the customer. We must be meeting customers' needs. We must be solving their problems. We must make customers' tasks easy to accomplish. And that if you have one design idea, Vinay, and the client has another one, what I'll sometimes do is I will prototype both of them. And I use Axure, so I can prototype pretty quickly depending upon on what it is. And so maybe I just prototype mostly a happy path, not too many alternative paths. And I say, let's just bring this to the users. I don't want to fight with you, and I don't want to make this about who likes it more or whatever. Ultimately, this has to be right for our customers. And I bet there's going to be things that we'll learn about both of our ideas if we can put these prototypes in front of some real or potential or archetypal customers. So I'll call for us to test with 5, maybe 10, but even 5 is usually pretty good. To do some sort of testing, I use Userlytics. They don't pay me to say that. I pay them. I overpay them. That's not a cheap system, but I do like it. So I usually set things up for unmoderated video testing with an Axure prototype, and I give people concrete tasks. You're trying to do this, do it. You need to do this, do it. Because ultimately, it's about task completion. And obviously, set up ahead of time with this stakeholder or client. What are we expecting to see here? What matters to us? Does it matter that they did it correctly without the 4 horsemen of UX showing up? Frustration, confusion, disappointment, and distraction. It's one of my fun trademarks. Are we looking for them to complete it in a certain amount of time? Are we looking for them to complete it in a certain number of steps? Are we looking to just see what their reactions are? I've done stuff like this. I did a thing like this last year where the client wanted one thing and I wanted something different. So I prototyped both of them, and there were strengths and weaknesses to both of them. And what we ended up going with was kind of a best of, the greatest hits of both ideas. And I think that kind of helps smooth things over with the client, because it's not just, hey, client, you're an idiot, you're wrong. Now, if you don't end up with the best of, if you really do end up with Vinay's idea is amazing and the other idea sucks, which I've also had happen when we took multiple ideas to user testing, then normally I just go back to the client and I go, thank you for being involved. Thank you for your idea. I'm glad we got the chance to test it out before you built that and went in the wrong direction. Look at how we were able to just spend a couple of days testing and interpreting that testing, and wow, I'm sorry your idea didn't work out, but think about how much time and money you saved by knowing that ahead of time. And it's really important for us to make sure this kind of testing is part of our strategic approach to the project time after time. So I think that bringing things to user testing can be a win-win. If there are things that people like about the client's idea better, good thing we learned that now, and let's incorporate them. If the client's idea is 100% death and disaster, as again I have had happen, they tested with 8 people in that case. All 8 hated the client's idea. I was watching it remotely, but I was like crying and laughing. Um, then again, I just use that to say to the clients, good thing we learned that up front. Think about the time and money you saved by knowing that, and not having built that. So, Vinay, I hope that helps you and I hope that helps others. It's a great question. It's a great question, and one I'm sure people will ask me again. And thank you so much. That's a really super question. And if you have a follow up question, please do write it here. Again, there's about a 30 to 60-second delay, and I'm taking open questions. This is Ask Me Anything office hours. Sorry, it's a little dark and mysterious here, but the sun's going down where I live in Europe. But hello to everybody around the world. And Vincent says, thanks for the useful information. May all of your projects be successful in 2020. Vincent, you too. That is very sweet of you. I do have a lot of things planned in 2020. Some are still secret, some you guys know about. And hopefully they will, at least some of them will be successful. Wouldn't be UX if some of them didn't fail, and that's okay. We'll learn from that. But yeah, I predict some good success for things I'm trying to do and change next year, and I hope all of you guys will come along for the ride. Vinay, I'm glad that answer was helpful to you. Thank you again. Again, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I'm happy to help with any situations you guys are facing in your jobs or job searches. I'm obviously not a psychotherapist or a lawyer, so I can't help you with other things. I can always try to give good, friendly advice to your non work things, but I'm not a qualified psychologist or psychiatrist or lawyer. You also know I give advice on freelancing and businesses and things like that. So thanks to the 13 people joining us live here the day before New Year's. So thank you so much for joining. And again, I am taking questions live if anybody wants to ask anything, even questions you think are stupid, like Debbie, what's the difference between UX and UI? Or Debbie, why do you think that visual designers shouldn't wireframe? Or why do you think stakeholders blah blah blah? Ask me anything. That's what this is for. And just checking if there's any questions on YouTube. None at this time. Um, so again, if we don't get some questions in, I'm happy to wrap it up. There's no reason for me to keep yapping when I know you guys are just trying to wind down your last day, possibly a work day Monday before your New Year's Eve festivities. Those of you joining live, tell me what you're going to do for New Year's, assuming it's legal and appropriate to write publicly, because this will be saved and archived with the video. So only say the right things. Someone is sending me a private message. Let me just check quickly if it is a question. No, it is not. It's a continuation of another discussion that I'm having. And that discussion was, what's the difference between a senior level UX practitioner and someone more junior? What would be the difference in where seniors and juniors are? If you're listening live, write in. What do you think are the differences between what senior level UX and CX practitioners can do, should do, must do, versus what we expect from people who are not senior yet. I'm curious what you guys think of that. While you're giving me your answers, we have another question from Vinay. Why Axure for prototyping? Adobe XD has advanced prototyping features. Last I checked, Adobe XD, and maybe they changed it while I was sleeping, Adobe XD does not compete with Axure yet, in that Axure has variables and conditional logic. This allows me to think like a programmer, although not be a programmer, and create very, very, very realistic flows that can have multiple outcomes and a lot more flexibility, because I can write if this, then that. If this, then that. If this person is not yet a customer, take them down this path. If this person is a current customer, take them down this path. If this person is a premium customer, take them down this path. So there's a lot of really more advanced and realistic things that I can do because of variables and because of conditional logic. There's also a lot of math functions, and there's also repeaters, which I don't use often, but some people love them, which allow me to kind of put in a fake little data set. It's not live data, but it's like a fake little data set, like an Excel spreadsheet, and realistically manipulate that information. So I do it sometimes to make a more realistic shopping experience, like the repeater has my items in there and some of the metadata and some of the pricing. And that way, when you add it to the shopping cart, it really gets added to the shopping cart rather than Lorem ipsum is in your shopping cart. And sometimes that's fine. But I'm definitely still a fan of Axure. I'm not loving their new version as much as version 8. I think version 9 tried to look too much like Sketch and made some things harder to do. And so I'm still using version 8 because to me, the ease of use and efficiency is really important. Nobody chimed in on my question. Come on, peeps. I thought somebody would say, what's the difference between a senior level practitioner and someone who's more junior? Does anybody have any thoughts or ideas on that? And maybe not, and that's okay. And I haven't even thought of the answer. So I don't even have like a great ready to go answer for you. It's something that I've been kind of discussing behind the scenes with someone I met through LinkedIn, and it's something we've been batting around. But I mean, to me, one of the main differences is going to be certainly the amount of experience you have. As many, you're really a senior when you have 5 or more years experience. Oh, okay. Vinay says he hadn't yet explored Axure sticking with XD. Yeah, it really depends on what you're trying to build. But as I believe prototyping needs to become more and more realistic, I believe that people are going to move away from some of that kind of low level, less realistic prototyping, like some of the paper prototyping, some of the InVision type stuff, some of the click-through model. The click-through models really don't replicate what we're building honestly enough. And yet we're going to bring that to user testing, but yet users aren't really using something realistic. They're using this very fake or watered down or predefined version. And I think that could be skewing user testing. So I believe that we're all going to have to move towards more realistic prototyping. Whether some people want to write code, that's fine. Whether some people want to use Framer, that's fine. I am not as much into the tool as I am into the realism of the prototype. However you can achieve that. My preferred tool is Axure. They don't pay me to say that. I pay them. But that's been my tool since early 2011. I do train people on Axure. But again, I wish you could all download version 8. I think it was better than version 9, but hopefully they'll clean it up over time. So nobody is responding to the question about what makes someone senior versus what makes someone junior. So I guess we'll save that for another time. That might be a good topic to riff on when people feel a little bit more involved in it. But we do have a fresh question. Jayesh, if I pronounced you well, says getting hired as UX designer, but the actual work is to design the interface or mostly visual work. Strategy and other UX work is done by the engineering team. How do you deal with this? That's a hard one. And of course, that happens to most of us, where we're sold a job that is, yeah, you're going to be able to do UX work. You're going to be able to do it strategically. You're going to be able to do maybe user-centered design and research and all this stuff. And then you find out when you get there that, oh, wait a minute, the company's idea of UX is just make pretty wireframes, or just do some visual design on these screens that the business analyst made, or that the product manager made, or that engineering made. You just put a little polish on it. And again, like I said before, when a company has that low CX or UX maturity, it's hard for you to change them. It's kind of like walking up to someone and going, "You're fat and ugly." Well, they're probably going to be like, "No, I'm just fine, thanks, and please go away." And sometimes these people really don't want to hear what UX really is, what UX should be doing. That's hard. That should be for a manager, but my guess is that your manager is not a UX practitioner, because a UX practitioner wouldn't do that to you. If you worked for me, I wouldn't do that to you. So I think it's up to us right now, while companies misunderstand UX so badly, we're going to have to look at this as we apply for jobs. When you read a job application and it says you're going to be doing high fidelity or full fidelity, that means full graphic design. You're going to be designing beautiful interfaces. That means you're the visual designer. Pretty much no matter what else that job description says, if you see aspects of UI, visual design, beauty, typography, iconography, color theory, sure, UX should know a little bit about that, but it's not the specialty for many of us. Many of us come from another angle. I come from more that psychology side, and I happen to be a terrible artist. So what can you do about that? It might not be a job that you can fix. It's probably a job you're just going to have to remember. When they do that to you, they want you to become an order taker. They want you to just take orders. They want you to hear, "Well, we need this to be pretty," or "We need this to match our brand." You do it. You're the UX guy. And you're thinking, as the UX guy, there's so many other things I should be doing. What about all this UX work and research and talking to customers? No, no, our engineers are doing that. So again, you're probably not going to be able to change that, because you're talking about changing the whole process of how this company works, of how they see product strategy, product design, UX strategy, UX work. You're not going to be able to change these people. If this is the job that you might be at now, I would say start looking for other jobs. It's very hard alone to raise a company's maturity. Companies are very happy doing things the way they've been doing them, and you have to be a really senior person and strong personality to be willing to say, "No, no, no, this is not the right way to do this. Let's try this another way." And very often you just get too much pushback and resentment. So it may not be something you can fix. I would work a little harder. All of us, this is true for all of us. I have to do this too. When I read job descriptions, when I start seeing stuff about visual design, I just don't even apply. Does that mean they're missing out on my fantastic UX talents? Well, sure. And they're missing out on yours too. More importantly, who cares about me? More importantly, they're missing out on you guys. But if you're not visual designers, or you don't want to spend most of your time making pretty wireframes and probably not doing very much with actual users, this might not be the job for you. And it's okay to not apply. It's okay to say no. It's okay to quit that job when you realize it's not right for you. I have quit jobs 1 month in, when I realized they hired me claiming they wanted my specialty and my expertise and my talent, and then they tried to make me an order taker. And I stuck around for a few weeks hoping that it would change and I would design things and show them to people, and they'd say, "No, no, no, no. Just wireframe what that person's coming up with." And finally, I just went to HR and I said, "You are overpaying me to be an intern. You could get an intern to do this. Like, this isn't thinking work at all. You claimed you wanted my specialty." So, does that look weird on my resume? Maybe. Do I have a good neutral thing I can tell people about that if I get asked in an interview? Yes, I can just say I went into that job very excited. And unfortunately, I didn't get to utilize my specialty. And of course, now you can even say, well, if you look at lean, if you look at the principles of lean, principle 8 of lean is underutilized talent is not lean. So it's a sin to not use my talent. I don't know if I'd go that far, but you know what I'm saying. So Jayesh, I don't have a great answer for you, because once that relationship is that broken, and once they see you as the guy who makes pretty wireframes or does the final visual design, and other people talk to the customers, and other people do the UX work, and other people strategize the product design, chances are you're not going to be able to change that company. A company like that normally changes when they feel a lot of pain. They're going to have to lose customers, have trouble getting customers, have trouble selling it, be written up with bad reviews. Like, there's going to have to be something that hurts that company for them to go, oh, wait a minute, maybe we need other people to do this stuff. So I'm sorry, I don't have a great answer. This is Ask Me Anything, office hours. We've got 25 people watching on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. And when most people are or should be on vacation, thank you so much for joining me. And if anybody has questions, I'm happy to take general questions about anything, including situations that could be happening at your job. And I'll speak to them in general. I have my dog walking over now. So, Olivia, if Olivia wants to sit with me, you can all meet Olivia. Olivia. Olivia, Susu. Susu. Hold on. She's wearing her vest. Hold on, Olivia. This is Olivia. And, oh, Olivia. Olivia. Okay, you're very sweet. This is Olivia. She's wearing her visibility vest because she likes to walk around the countryside herself. So we want to make sure she's as safe as she can be, because she does cross the street and she's not great at crossing the street. Thank you, Jayesh. I'm sorry that you might not be having the best work experience. I am still taking questions, even though I am talking to Olivia the dog, but I'm happy to take everybody's questions. I am checking the chat for any questions. And this is Olivia the dog. Boop. Olivia is 3 years old. She is a hunting hound mutt, and she is a very sweet girl. I would say her key personality elements are helpfulness and jealousy. She is one of 5. I have 5 dogs, and they're all related to her. So it's fun over here, but she likes to hang out at our house and the others hang out outside. Any other questions about the UX or CX world, or stuff that's happening at our jobs? I'm happy to answer any questions on any topics. And no question is too stupid, and no question is too wacky. If people don't have questions, I'll certainly wrap this up, but I've got 28 of you watching live on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining me. Adorable. Thank you. Happy holidays to you, Sonia. I'm always happy to take some time out. Sonia, I try to do this every Tuesday at roughly 4:30 Central Europe time, but with tomorrow being New Year's Eve and knowing that some people are working today, I wanted to sneakily move it in to today. And but it'll be usually office hours, usually Tuesday, and that way I can try to do a session like this and answer people's questions, whatever they are. All questions are welcome. Jayesh says, hey to you too, Jayesh. One more question, says Jayesh. Okay, let's see it. I'm about 30 to 60 seconds offset from you guys because of the delay. So I'll just talk to Olivia. Ciao, Olivia. Let's see if anybody in YouTube is asking a question. No, nobody in YouTube is asking a question. Vinay says, we're approaching 2020. What's the future of UX? Will AI or automation take over? You know, I always love when people ask about the future, because I feel like we're not even getting the present right. Hold on, Olivia's falling. There's only so much we can get hung up about the future when we're not even getting the present right. Here, Olivia, let me take off your vest. Well, I'm going to answer this while taking off Olivia's vest. Give me a minute. So hold on, I'm taking off your vest. Don't move. So what's coming in 2020? I did just write an article about to cmswire.com. C Charlie M Mary S Sierra, cmswire.com. Thank you, Olivia. And I published an article of my predictions for 2020. Will AI and automation take over? Not in 2020. We're not getting these things right enough just yet. AI still I think it's got a great future, but it also has a scary future. And I think we haven't decided what that future is. I think we haven't figured out the ethics of AI, which really should happen. Somebody's got to spearhead this because it's already getting a little funky. And I don't think AI is going to take our jobs. I know we're seeing a lot of automated tools that say like, "Ooh, just get your wireframe and now it's front end code." But I always wonder, is that good front end code? Would a front end developer tell me that's good front end code, or is that crappy code? So I'm not totally convinced of these things, and I think we are a long way away from some of the things we think AI is going to do. For the following example, which is also in my book, for those of you reading my book, I think I've got my book here. I can hold it up and plug my book. Delta CX, available on Amazon, paperback and Kindle. Yes, it is. The example is, I'm 47 and I've never had children. That is by choice. So don't say I'm sorry. It's a good thing. I'm for it. And I don't think I've ever bought anything for a child, yet a lot of the ads I get throughout the year are back to school, your children this, your children that. And in the book I show, I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly, but in the book I show a screenshot of an email I got from my bank, which basically said, like, "Hey, your kids are going back to college and they want your money." And I was like, "Oh crap, I guess I'm old enough to have kids in college." Thing one, thanks a lot, bank. Thing two, I don't have kids. How has my bank not noticed that? You would think, all we hear about are we're being tracked everywhere. We're being tracked everywhere. AI, machine learning, this and that. I'm looking through my book to try to find the example. AI, all this stuff, and still no system can figure out I don't have kids. And you're sending me stuff that says your kids are going back to school or your kids want your money. And my thought was, we talk a lot about empathy in our world. You got to have empathy, empathy this, empathy that. We have no empathy if we are sending time for your kids to go back to school ads to people who don't have children, because I'm happy I don't have children, but I'm rare. I'm not the norm. Most of the people I know who don't have children are upset about that. That wasn't necessarily their choice. That wasn't the way they thought life would go for them. So I know people happy to not have children, and I know people upset that they didn't have children. How dare we send someone who doesn't have children some sort of back to school, kids are going back to school? That's got to hurt for that person. And if we have empathy for them, we have to stop doing that. Yeah, this was the ad that I got. I don't know if you can see this. It's probably blurry, but it's in my book. For those of you with the paper book, it's page 160. Those of you who are on Kindle can search customer personalization. And I get so much crap that says like, "Happy Mother's Day, and for your very special Mother's Day." Can you imagine sending Happy Mother's Day marketing stuff to someone who is upset that they couldn't have children? How can we do that to people? So I don't want to hear about your AI. I don't want to hear about your machine learning, and I don't want to hear about this crap while you can't even figure out that I don't have children, even after me consistently behaving a certain way online. I got online in 1992, and it's 2019. I've been online for 27 years and you can't figure out I don't have children. So I don't want to hear about AI is taking over. Y'all can't even figure out I don't have children. You're sending me back to school crap. All right, I'm mad. I'm mad because I have empathy. I'm mad because I have empathy for the people who wanted to have children and didn't or couldn't. And that's not about me and my decisions. I chose this. I can't believe we send those things to people. It seems so insensitive. Sorry, it's a strange sound outside. What's my New Year's resolution? Samir, I haven't decided yet. Tomorrow I will be doing the project. Every year, my boyfriend and I, you can see a little bit of it in the far corner up here, pink post-it on the wall. We do a wall of post-its with our goals for the year, and we look at which ones we achieved this year. So they're literally all over the wall, just over here out of sight, and which ones we didn't get to. I achieved some of my most important goals. I didn't achieve some of my important goals. I guess my number one goal for next year on the business side is to improve or fix UX education. I'm just so unhappy with trade schools and boot camps, and those of you who have felt scammed or disappointed that you got training and then couldn't find a job. That's probably my number one business resolution. Um, Jayesh says, please guide the next billionaire customer who are not too educated but are connected to all the application and digital products, how to approach to them. Jayesh, I don't know what that means. Someone help me. Does anyone know what Jayesh means? Please guide the next billionaire customer who are not too educated but are connected to all the application and digital products, how to approach them. Is that a question of how do I get a billionaire customer? If I knew that one, I'd have one. I don't have one. I am not too sure what you're asking, so I apologize. Try to rephrase that or see if you can clear that up a little bit. And any other questions, guys? You know, I do this until you guys run out of questions. So we'll go until we go. So I know people are like, what? What does he mean? I don't know. And again, we're about 30 or 60 seconds offset. There's a delay. Let's see. Anybody in YouTube asking a question? No, we've just got one viewer there, and sometimes it's my boyfriend. So hi, honey. Any other LinkedIn questions while Jayesh maybe rephrases his question so I can figure it out? But maybe a better question is, Samir, what's your New Year's resolution? Udit, our good friend, do you think voice user interface is the future of UX? And do you think the number of users for voice UI will increase? Great question. I've done a little bit of conversational work in the past few years. And what do I think of it? I think it's awesome for a number of things, not awesome for a number of things. And there's some things that probably might not ever make sense. I'll give you an example. I remember when e-commerce was first really big in the 2000s. I started in e-commerce in 1997, so my experience goes way back. I remember seeing it get really big in the 2000s with eBay and early Amazon and everyone getting a website. And I remember people would put everything on a website to sell. And I remember even people were going onto eBay and posting furniture for sale. And I remember thinking at the time, I don't think this is really totally going to fly. How are you going to buy furniture you've never seen that you hope fits in your space, that you hope matches your colors? And then what if you had to return it? Who's going to pack up furniture and send it back? This is ridiculous. So, and excuse me, obviously what we've ended up seeing over time was buying furniture online didn't totally take off. Shopping for furniture online can make sense. Taking a look at different stores and what they carry and their colors and their fabrics and their patterns and what their styles are and the types of couches, that can really make sense to use that for some preliminary comparison shopping. Then probably most of us go out to that store to sit on the couch. Is it comfortable? Look at that color. Was it going to match our decor? So shopping for furniture and is great. Buying furniture online and having it just show up your house, a lot less likely unless you've already gone out and sat on it and you know you like it. I think something similar for voice, because, for example, voice shopping can be cool, but I find most examples right now are of reordering things you already ordered. I could tell Amazon, send me another power strip like the one I bought. Send me another canister of protein powder. Send me another high visibility dog vest. Love this thing. Got it on Amazon. They don't pay me to say that. But think about other things that we buy from day to day. So imagine I need a dress to wear to a wedding. Am I just going to ask Google to find me a dress or find me a blue dress or find me a blue long sleeve dress? I mean, start to think about this and think about some of the things we buy day to day that you really just have to experience. I have to sit on the couch, or I should sit on the couch, or I'll want to sit on the couch to avoid making a purchase mistake. I have to see the dress. I have to try on the dress. I'm shaped very strangely. I've heard nearly every woman say that. I've never heard a woman say, yeah, I'm a pretty standard size. Everything fits me. Most women go, I'm shaped really weird. I've got to try stuff on. And some men feel the same way. And then there's other people as well. So voice user interface, I believe, will continue to grow. I believe it's an area of UX and CX that we need to focus on. But I also think that we have to, and thanks to Justin, and I also believe that we have to think about when it makes sense and when it doesn't. Voice may not make sense for the things that we buy for beauty, for appearance, for matching decor, for will this dress match my shoes or something like that. But something that's more of a commodity. Every time I look up voice shopping online, there's somebody talking about paper towels. I don't know why, but it's like everybody's example of buy online from Walmart, buy online from Target, tell Amazon Alexa to do this, and it's always paper towels. And I'm thinking, okay, all y'all tell them to buy paper towels. But so I have not bought anything with my voice yet. I do own 2 Google Homes. Sometimes if I'm live and you just hear me yell cancel, it's because Google Home thought I was talking to it. And again, by the way, everybody, this is Ask Me Anything. This is open office hours. Ask questions. I'm answering Udit's question right now about voice UI. So I think there will be more and more of it. And I think it's a little bit generational. I tried to get my boyfriend's mom to use Voice UI. I got her some Google Home Minis. We set them up. We got her some Philips Hue smart light bulbs. She has a bit of a disability. I thought it might be easier for her to speak to do things, and it just didn't really catch on for her. I do want to try again at some point, but it just didn't catch on first. So I think we have to really know our target customers. This is going to sound like the same thing as always, but do our research, really know our target customers, understand their tasks and the types of things that that they're trying to accomplish, not we, that they're trying to accomplish, that how they want to accomplish those tasks, and how they use voice stuff now to see where this can make sense. I mean, there are things that just have too many variables. I'm not going to tell Google to buy me a flight from London to whatever. I've got to look at times and plane changes and costs. So I think we have to think about, where does voice make sense, where maybe some of the options are minimal or few or none, and it's easy for me to just tell a machine, hey robot, do this thing, and be confident that it's going to work out well. So I think voice is definitely more of the future. But while I can't see the stuff that I'm talking about and see some of the details, and I don't want Google to start reading me 10 different flight options because of cognitive load, I think we're just going to have to research more and make sure that we have the right um, like scenarios, the right uses for these things. So Udit, I hope that helps. And let's see what Jayesh is saying. Hopefully this will make more sense. In India, there are many people who don't know how to read and write, but they're using smartphones. Those are our new customer. To design an application or software for them, what kind of psychology strategy do we need to keep in mind? So I'm going to take you literally. I'm going to take you literally when you say people don't know how to read and write. I'm going to take you literally that people with smartphones are illiterate. If people with smartphones are illiterate, I think that ties back into what Udit is saying, which is, if people can't read or write, they probably can speak. And I know people who've been like that in like a second language, that in their second language they learned to speak it, but they're not good at reading it or writing it for whatever reason. And maybe this is for people's first language as well. For that, it's probably going to mean more of the phone speaking to people and more of people speaking to the phone. But again, unlike Udit's question, this has the added benefit of then showing people stuff on their phone. So I can say, show me blue dresses, size, whatever, flowers, blah, blah, blah. And then I can see my choices and I can touch the one that I like. You don't have to be able to read or write to touch the dress that looks good to you. So I think when we have that combination of some sort of screen for people, but if they really are illiterate or functionally illiterate and really don't read or write much or at all, then of course we have to get to know those customers very deeply. We have to know what their needs are. We have to know what their habits are. We have to know how they get stuff done now. How do you get stuff done in a world full of words when you don't know what those words mean? And I can't answer that. That's what good UX and CX research is for. So I think we have to dive into more research around people who may be illiterate, and to try to learn how they use technology and try to design for them. So what psychology strategy do we need? research, 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 extra research, even more research. This is a population that many people are not used to designing for. Heck, we can't even get people to design for blind people, visually impaired people, deaf people, hard of hearing people, people with mobility issues or paralysis. We can't even get people to design for them. Now to tell people and design for literate people, it just means we have to invest a lot more into great UX workers and into giving them the time, money, resources, headcount, whatever, to build the right thing for these audiences, because these are tough audiences in that we're not used to building for them. They're not tough people in general. They're super people, but they're tough for us because we probably haven't tried yet. And so it's going to be a learning curve for us to get to know these people better. So that's where I would start. Extra. Oh, my phone is claiming there's something I'm supposed to do right now, but I know I'm going to put that off. But I'll tell you guys what it is. Based on the poll that I ran the other day on LinkedIn, where people voted for me recording my stuff all sloppy, my audiobook being a little bit sloppy. I'm going to try to record my audiobook just like the first maybe half hour and record it without editing anything too seriously out of it. And if I make a mistake and I read a word wrong, I'm going to just correct myself as if I'm talking to you guys live right now and I mess up a word and I have to correct myself. And then I'm going to post it on LinkedIn and let you guys tell me what you think. Like, could you listen to a whole audiobook where a person makes mistakes and corrects them, or do you really expect me to have edited those out? So I'm curious. So I will be headed into my recording booth over the next few days to just try to do the first half hour of my book and see what all of you think. I'm still here and we're still going. If anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to take them. This is office hours. Ask Me Anything Live. I do this once a week, usually on Tuesdays, but it's a holiday week. So today is Monday. Also, remember to check out Delta CX for the upcoming Concentric conference in January. It's a full day of really cool UX and CX presentations that are weird ones, interesting ones that I've pretty much never heard of before. I think I've heard one of them before, and they seem really all exciting to me. So you can register for that. I'm charging under $100 for you guys to come for a full day of that. So I want everybody to check that out live and be able to ask your questions and interact with the speakers. We're about 30 to 60 seconds delayed. So if anybody has any more questions, ask now. Otherwise, I've been going for about an hour. So I will wrap this up. This will be archived on YouTube. All of these are archived on YouTube if you want to listen to past ones. They do not go out as part of the podcast. Only the scheduled ones will go out as part of the podcast. But to let you guys know, the podcast is now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. So if you like the video version, you can see that on YouTube. The audio version will be available on these other places. As always, completely free, and I don't have any sponsors, so I have nothing to sell you, and there are no ads. My podcast is brought to you by me. Please check me out on deltacx.com. Get to know my book and my upcoming conference and some other fun stuff I'm working on. So if anybody has any last questions, please type them now. Otherwise, I will assume that we are done for today, and I will wish everybody a happy, fun, safe New Year's celebration, however you celebrate that. My boyfriend and I plan to cook all of our favorite foods that we haven't been able to eat because we've been on a diet. I don't know if I look like I've lost any weight, but I have. I know I don't normally stand up on these things, but I've been losing some weight. He's been losing a lot of weight. So proud of him. But we've decided tomorrow is eat everything. So I, I might look a little squishier on the next Ask Me Anything, but that's fine because the food will be delicious. I wish you all delicious, healthy food. Everybody play it safe. Remember, please don't drink or do substances and then drive. Make sure somebody else is driving for you. Please make safe choices and don't put yourself in harm's way anywhere. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone, watch your drinks out in public. If you walk away from a drink, please get a new one so that you can make sure nobody drugged your drink. Sorry to get depressing and stuff here, but these are really important things to remember that do happen, especially at a New Year's Eve celebration and especially out in the public. And I just want everybody to stay safe. And if you have to buy another drink, or if you have to carry it around with you, please do. But please be very safe, because this stuff happens too much to people of all genders around the world. And I want you guys to be safe. So with that, I'm going to wrap up and say thanks to everybody for joining in. Thanks to those who asked questions. Thanks to those who pressed cool emojis. Thanks to everybody for joining in. Have a really super and safe few days, and I will see you all next week for another office hours. And I'm also planning some more podcasts coming up. I'll be doing one on the Delta CX decision matrix, and we will have special guest Seth Finkel, Dr. Seth Finkel, psychologist, back for hopefully 2 podcasts coming up. One on empathy, and I forgot the other one, but it was a question one of you had asked on LinkedIn, and I wrote it down and I sent it to him. So we've got 2. And then I'm working on scheduling one on design systems. So, and if there's a topic you want to hear about, send me a message, let me know, and I will find somebody who knows it. And thanks to you, Sonia. Safe experience, safe New Year's to everybody. That is the most important thing. And don't think about resolutions. Think about changes. What kind of change can you create for yourself and others in the new year? So I will catch everybody soon. And with that, I will try to find the button that says go off the air, and I will go off the air. See you guys. Hate to be cheesy. See you guys next